Welcome to Cal Energy Philippines.
In the next few minutes, you will be introduced to the safety standards, policies, and procedures Cal Energy Philippines strictly implement at all times. This safety orientation video is required to be viewed by all contractors and guests before they are given access to the premises of the company. More importantly, after carefully watching this video, you will appreciate and understand the standard of safety that we expect not only from our employees but also from our contractors and guests. Again, welcome to Cal Energy Philippines.
At Cal Energy Philippines, health and safety compliance is regarded as a major requisite in our daily operations. It is without question that we all need to closely work together in taking precautions because both you and the company incur liabilities in the event of an accident. It is the intent of this company to comply not only with the existing local laws on safety, which include the Philippine Occupational Safety and Health Law, but also adopt or even surpass the best management and safety practices of organizations that belong to similar industries. It is our objective to reduce the number of injuries and illnesses to an absolute minimum. And this, we hope, would lead us to achieve our ultimate goal of having an incident and injury-free workplace. At Cal Energy Philippines, employees across all levels are aware that the goal of achieving a solid safety culture is everyone's responsibility. As a statement to this, the company takes pride in its unprecedented safety performance record. Since the start of our commercial operation in December 11, 2001, we have achieved zero lost time and zero accident rate. We would not be able to maintain this speed without discipline and effective communication. Therefore, your cooperation is a must. Using a timely emergency preparedness plan, the company is prepared to handle specific emergencies which include fire, earthquake, severe weather, intruder alert, bomb threat, watercraft incident, and civil disturbance. The plan is communicated to the employees through frequent trainings that are tested through regular emergency drills and visual reminders that are strategically posted within the company premises. It is important that we familiarize ourselves with these procedures, for in the event of actual emergencies, no other rules apply except for the ones that are stated in the emergency preparedness plan. Topics like where to go, what to do, and how to give first aid will be discussed so that you can act promptly using the information you will acquire from this video should any emergency arise. In cases of emergencies, such as earthquakes, all personnel should evacuate their respective areas as soon as the signal for evacuation is given. There are 3 evacuation areas. Area number 1 is located at the powerhouse parking area. Evacuation area number 2 is at the admin parking. And evacuation area number 3 is at switchyard and tail race. Medical assistance will also be provided in all evacuation areas. Cal Energy Philippines employees are trained to administer first aid when needed. Supplementary trainings for such are also provided by institutions such as the Philippine Red Cross. First aid trainings are held annually to keep everyone updated and well prepared. First aid materials are located inside first aid cabinets placed in strategic areas around the plant. Our industrial nurse is always available for assistance. Any personnel can visit the clinic located at the guest house's ground floor, should any need arise. For effective and prompt accident intervention, it is imperative that accidents and near misses are immediately reported to managers, supervisors, and risk and safety personnel so that appropriate corrective and preventive actions could be applied. Always bear in mind that minor incidents, when ignored, could recur and most likely cause more serious damages in the future. When reporting an incident, do not wait for the next day. Reporting of incidents or accidents can be done through voice message or text. However, a written report is required within 24 hours of the occurrence of an incident. It is the policy of the company to investigate all incidents. If it is determined that an employee caused an incident, he or she will be subjected to disciplinary actions and will have to undergo the mandatory drug and alcohol testing in accordance with company procedures. In addition, the said employee would have to go through a safety refresher. Contractor personnel should immediately report to the job coordinator or any risk and safety personnel regarding any occurrence of incidents. Cal Energy Philippines requires all employees, contractors, and visitors to wear their respective personal protective equipment suited for their particular task and known hazards. PPE should be used when and where required. They also have to be properly maintained, for they serve as your first line of defense against occupational injuries or illnesses. The basic PPE that are required to be worn inside the premises are as follows: hard hat, safety glasses, gloves, and earplugs. At Cal Energy Philippines, we strictly enforce a no PPE, no permit policy. Again, PPEs should be worn properly at all times and must be well maintained, so you can be sure that you have a layer of protection from any work-related hazards. Only authorized personnel with working permits are allowed to work on electrical installations. If you are not authorized to handle and make repairs on electrical appliances and installations, please refrain from touching or getting near these equipments. This will lessen the chances of getting hurt or adding more harm to the equipment. Contractors shall ensure that all works are covered with the appropriate safe work permits before starting the actual work. All substandard conditions involving electrical installations or electrical appliances should be reported to the supervisor or risk, safety, and compliance officer immediately. Being constantly aware of the following electrical safety practices could spell the difference between life and death. Inspect the wires of electrical appliances before plugging them to the power source, and also inspect electrical parts before use. Hold the cord by the plug when removing from the convenience outlet. Report any unsafe conditions and do not attempt to make electrical repairs when you are not qualified or authorized to do so. If you are going to do some repairs, make sure that a main switch is turned off. When operating circuit breakers or fuse switches, always stand to the side and never directly in front of the device being operated. Always secure a lockout-tagout system in places where they are necessary. This is especially critical if there are several workers or contractors working in that particular area. Replace all cuts, frayed, and damaged cables immediately. It is always safe to assume that all wires are energized, so double check with the voltmeter to see if there are no current flowing in the system you are working on. Wear the proper PPE required in performing and implementing your job. Remember to remove all metallic items from your body, such as watches, glasses, jewelries, and others. Ergonomics aims to make people's activities more efficient and comfortable through the innovative design and arrangements of equipment and furniture. Observing proper ergonomic practices when working in your respective work areas will lessen stress, hence making you more productive. Avoid direct or overly bright lighting, but make sure you have sufficient light to comfortably and safely perform your job duties. Contractors' concern on ergonomics in the workplace shall be addressed primarily by their respective employers. When lifting, remember the following simple guidelines and rest assured that you'll be accident-free and have a healthier back at the same time. Thinking ahead of what you'll be doing and where you'll be going will prevent you from making awkward movements while holding something heavy. Lift close to your body and stand with feet apart for stability and balance. Bend your knees, not your back, and never twist your body when lifting a load. The maximum weight of material to be lifted must not exceed 2/3 of your weight. If you think that the load is too heavy for you, get help or use a push cart, if available. Finally, make sure you have a clear path and firmly hold the object you are lifting to avoid accidents. The company expects all employees and contractors to be responsible and cautious at all times in using certain tools, vehicles, and equipment required in performing your job. Aside from having those knowledge and skills to operate them, you must also have the proper qualification. This is especially true with heavy equipment. Tools must be used only in accordance with the purpose they were designed for. Authorized and qualified personnel or professionals are the only ones allowed to do repairs on tools, vehicles, and equipment. Good housekeeping has always been an essential element in any good safety program. Aside from preventing accidents and injuries, it helps save space, time, and materials. When a workspace is clean, orderly, and free of obstruction, work can be done safely, properly, and quickly. Tools and equipment must be returned to their proper places after use. Proper waste management must be enforced at all times. As much as possible, store only small containers of flammable supplies and keep them secured in flame-proof cabinets. Flammables include tin cans of fuel, plastic bottles of oil, and aerosol packs of paint and degreaser. Contractors are required to conduct housekeeping on their temporary facilities and on their respective job sites. The company trains its personnel on defensive driving practices and insists everyone to abide by the standards and procedures in the vehicle safety policy. Among the vehicle safety practices prescribed are as follows. Only authorized personnel are allowed to drive company-owned or rented vehicles. Contractors can be authorized to drive company vehicles after the qualification and requirements are met, and the request for authorization is approved by the plant manager. The parking cone should be used at all times when parking in company premises. Circle of inspection should be conducted before operating a vehicle. In Cal Energy, we practice the 5 keys of Smith driving at all times. Aim high in steering. Get the big picture. Keep your eyes moving. Leave yourself an out and make sure they see you. Following this system will help you reduce collision, fuel consumption, and maintenance costs. Heavy equipment operators will have to undergo a separate training to be certified and be qualified workers. It is important that each operator knows the proper handling of heavy equipment and vehicles to ensure not only the operator's safety, but also the safety of the people around the working area. The company implements a work permitting system that details the rules for the issuance of Safe Work Permit or SWP and Energy Isolation Clearance or EIC. Contractors are expected to understand and comply with the requirements of this policy. This is to facilitate a thorough hazard identification, issuance of energy isolation clearance, adherence to good safe work practices, and the provision of appropriate personal protective equipment or PPE. The Safe Work Permit is a document that details the identification and control of hazards and is applicable to all works conducted within the facilities of Cal Energy Philippines. It must be accomplished and approved prior to start of any work. Contractors must be aware that the company strictly observes a no permit, no work policy. Each Safe Work Permit may have an attached associated permit for specific hazardous job, such as Confined Space Entry Permit, Critical Lift Permit, Excavation Permit, Hot Works Permit, Firefighting System Impairment Permit, Scaffolding Permit. Employees involved in these working conditions will have to undergo the training and evaluation process. As required for the issuance of Safe Work Permits, Employees who have received previous authorization are required to undergo refresher training on SWP EIC annually. Contractors are not allowed to be a holder of a safe work permit. Job coordinators assigned to contractors are tasked to comply with the requirements of this policy. Stored or potential energy, whether mechanical, electrical, or kinetic, is very dangerous and may lead to accidents. Qualified employees working on electrical wirings and equipment must be very cautious and conscious of this, and therefore must always apply safety precautionary measures before performing any job. The company requires that stored energy in machines and other electrical installations be properly dissipated or isolated through the application of the lockout-tagout procedures. This procedure must be reflected in a document that specifically outlines the equipment and the safety measures applied for the control of hazardous energy, the names of the equipment to be isolated, and the lockout box number. Any work involving isolation on critical equipment as defined in Section 4 is considered critical work and it's subject to PML procedures. Regular safe work permits may be issued for any period, but not exceeding 2 weeks. For operations isolations, the validity of the permits may last for 6 months from the date of issue. Locks are the primary means of isolation for all equipment. Tags must be placed in every point of isolation. All civil works, road maintenance, and construction projects must be covered with applicable and appropriate safe work permits prior to start of work. Contractors of these projects are required to have an established safety management system and implement them strictly. Among the safe practices required in these nature of works are as follows: conducting hazard identification, evaluation and control, safety inspections, conducting regular tailgate meetings, health and sanitation, and wearing of PPE. Depending on the scope and nature of the job, Cal Energy Philippines may require the contractor to have its own safety officer on the work site. This is to ensure the safety of its workers. Contractor employers and personnel are expected to conform with the standards of safety stipulated in the project contract. Now that you are aware of the company's safety rules and regulations, it will be your duty to adhere to them. If there is anything not clear to you or you have questions regarding your health and safety while in the plant, feel free to ask your supervisor, job coordinator, or any risk and safety personnel. Finally, we value our business with you. This is the reason we give utmost priority to your safety. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward working with you in building a culture of excellence and safety. Welcome to Cal Energy Philippines.